So I just finished up this new set. Not set, really. I just moved my desk around. I'm calling it a set because I'm a YouTuber now, I guess. And this wall feels really empty. But the missus thinks that it would make everything too crowded. So if you want to help a brother out, just put in the comments below, man, that wall needs a bookshelf. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you once again for coming to my channel. I know you don't have to, but I appreciate you regardless. Today I wanted to start something new. I wanted to do kind of like sales basics for newer agents, real estate agents. I feel like the camera's too low, so I'm like hunching over. All right. So anyways, I wanted to do a kind of just a little playlist on this channel of sales basics, and these things are going to apply to either real estate agents, people selling furniture, or just anything in general. If you sell something, even if it's lemonade and you're a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout watching this, you know, just pay attention. It might help you. I hope it does. It's helped me, and I've been doing this for 10 years, and I learned this particular strategy that we're going to go over today about 5 years ago, and ever since then I've seen a huge improvement in just my sales overall. My commissions have gone up. Not just commissions have gone up, but also relationships have gotten a lot better with people. All right, but without blabbering on about you know, my life, today we're going to talk about an upfront contract. Upfront contracts, if you're not familiar with them because you haven't been in sales too long, are a conversation that you have with a prospect or client at the beginning of every meeting, and it's basically to go over a couple different things that are going to happen in the meeting. It's basically, think of it as a checklist that you give yourself of things that you want to make sure you accomplish before the meeting starts. Okay, so basically an upfront contract is mostly just to create 3 objectives for yourself. And the objectives are to build some type of rapport relationship with this person that you're talking to show them how organized you are as a salesperson. And the third one, it's kind of 2 different things. You're showing how aggressive as a salesperson you are, if they're the type of person that wants an aggressive sales rep, or that you are different than other people because and we'll get to it in a second, but it's mostly because you're gonna stand out. Most salespeople try to constantly go for the close, and they're not gonna take no for an answer. This last step is gonna be the opposite of that. So it's what we call in sales a pattern interrupt. Anyways, so let's just jump right into it. Step number 1 in an upfront contract is going to be about time. And a lot of people, I've noticed that they kind of get, not that they get this wrong, they just don't do it all the way. Most salespeople, sales agents will always say, hey, thank you again for meeting with me. I appreciate it. I know you have a busy day. That's great. You're appreciating their time. But what I don't see people doing is I don't see them asking if they still have that same amount of time. Some agents do, and those are the successful ones. But if you're not the type of person that does this, you need to start right away. So you basically want to say, hey, thank you again for meeting with me today. I appreciate it. I know you have a busy schedule. Do we still have an hour left in this meeting? If, you know, just in case things have changed, and you don't have to add that last part. And then they'll appreciate that way more than you just saying, hey, thanks again for meeting with me. I know you're a busy guy, right? Everyone's gonna say that to them. So for you to say, do we still have an hour? They're gonna see it as, oh shit, this person actually does appreciate my time. But also it helps you, because let's pretend for a second that you're meeting with someone and they really do have a busy schedule, and their wife calls them and says, hey, I can't pick up the kids today. Can you get out of work early and pick them up, right? And guess what? Your meeting is probably somewhere in that time where he has to pick up the kids. So let's say you say, hey, do we still have an hour? He'll probably say, actually, thanks for asking that. I actually don't have an hour. I didn't want to rush you too much, but I have to go pick up my kids. So can we do this in 15 minutes, or can we do this in 30? Most likely they'll say, can we do it in 15, because they just want to knock it all out. And so that's gonna help you. Not only are you building rapport with the person because you're coming off a little different and you're showing real appreciation, which is what people notice that sales agents don't do. So you're showing real appreciation, but now you also know that you only have 15 minutes to get from the start of your meeting to the end of your meeting. So if you typically close someone like at the 45-minute mark and the last 15 minutes are just chit chat, now you know that you have to condense everything to 15 minutes. So you have 5 minutes to introduce your product, 5 minutes to maybe answer their questions, and the last 5 minutes to close them. 15 minutes, get it done, right? So now, because you've asked that question, that simple question, do we still have an hour? You're able to anticipate how much time you have, restructure your meeting, and potentially either close them or set something up for a different time. Maybe he says, hey, I only have 15 minutes, and then you say, hey John, I thank you so much for that. Actually, you know what, go pick up your kids. My meetings typically, if I condense it, at the very least it's only going to be 30 minutes, so I don't want you to be late to pick up your kids. Go pick them up, let's reschedule. When's a good day for us to reschedule? And then you build again more rapport with that person. So that's step number 1 in the upfront contract. It's all about time. So step number 2 is going to be talking about your agenda, but also their agenda. Salespeople typically, unfortunately, tend to like to talk a lot. So when you talk a lot, you forget that they have questions, you forget that they have needs and wants, and all of these things are going to jeopardize you if you don't know what they want. So in my upfront contract, the way I structure it is I bring up a list of things that I'm gonna talk about, you know, like, and most likely these are things that you discussed in your cold call if you cold called them. So you'll talk about, hey, these are the things I want to talk about, but did you have any questions that you want answered in this meeting? They're probably going to say something about price, something about contracts, something that depends on whatever field you're in. They're going to ask you some of those questions. So you'll write those down, and it's very important for you to know that you do not answer this right now. You just tell, let's say it's John, you say, hey John, I'm gonna write these down and I'm gonna get to these answers. I'm gonna make sure that before we leave this meeting today, these questions are answered. I think I said answered too many times, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Okay, so how does this benefit you? Obviously, it lets them know that you care and you value whatever they're needing and wanting. Typically, what I've noticed in my industry and with a lot of new unexperienced salespeople is that whenever they get asked a question, they try to pivot, they try to answer it in a smarky way, and some good ones that don't know anything about the product, they say, hey, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll come back to you. The bad ones are the ones that do know, and they think that it's going to be a negative answer that's going to turn them away, so they choose not to answer it. They choose to pivot in a different way. And we can get in a different video on how to answer these questions and how to dig deeper into why they're asking these questions. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much wraps up step number 2. Asking them what they want to know and letting them know what you want to say. Simple, get to the point. The third thing, the outcome. This is one that I've noticed a lot of agents or salespeople, sales reps struggle with the most, is the outcome of the meeting, is that they're afraid to ask whether they're gonna get an order, whether they're gonna get a contract signed, whether, you know, they're gonna walk out with a new car. They're just hesitant to hear that no. They don't want to hear the no, because if they hear the no, they think that there's an instant wall and you're never going to get through that wall. But what I'm going to say to you is, in an upfront contract, is you're going to want to know that, not know that, but you're going to want to kind of anticipate that in the beginning. So step number 3 of an upfront contract is I'm going to give you the script, so don't judge me, it's going to sound scripty. Hey John, once we're done, okay, so how does step number 3 sound when you actually say it in a sentence? Because it's the most important one. I kind of want to make it very scripty. This is going to be bare bones. Don't judge me. It's going to sound like a script. make it your own. Don't ever say exactly what I'm about to say, okay? Just make it your own. Hey John, so once we've gone over all of this and I've answered all your questions and I've gone over everything that I wanted to talk about, I want you to do me a favor. If you don't feel like this product or service is good for you, would you be okay just telling me no? It's completely okay if you tell me no. I guarantee you it's not gonna hurt my feelings. If anything, it's gonna help me better understand what I did wrong, or if there was anything that I didn't answer properly. Would that be okay? Would you be okay just saying no to me at the end? And so, scene, I guess. So that's how the script sounds, and obviously morph it to however you sound, however you feel. If you know this person very well, you'll say, hey buddy, I'm gonna give you all of this information. I just want you to do me a favor. If you don't like it, just tell me. Just cuss me out, just throw me out, doesn't matter, just tell me. If you don't like it, I'll be okay. We're still gonna be friends, don't worry. Okay, so that's basically how it sounds to a friend. And why do you want to say this in the beginning? In the beginning of your meeting, before you even start everything else, you want to say it because you want them to feel comfortable throughout the entire meeting. If you don't say this, if you don't get them to agree to this, that's why it's called an upfront contract. They're agreeing to this. If they don't agree to it, throughout the entire meeting, they're going to be thinking of two things. When is this meeting over? And how am I going to tell him no? Or let's add a third one. How do I avoid him? Yeah, so and with an upfront contract, you're gonna eliminate all of that because you're gonna make them feel comfortable. They're gonna build some type of rapport with you. They might even be your friends at the end of the day. So I hope that helped. It's an upfront contract. These are gonna be really quick videos. If you have questions, just let me know down below. I'll try to get all of those answered. Obviously, I only have 10 subscribers, so if you're one of the 10 watching, I'm gonna answer your question if I know the answer to it. And if you have more questions about what upfront contracts are, obviously I didn't come up with this. If you go on like HubSpot, which is a CRM website, they have an upfront contract and on there, and they talk about, you know, the different steps, but the way they do it is kind of more cold call-y. There's different, just Google upfront contract and you'll find either by David Sandler or other people. They have their own versions. Every sales coach has their own version of an upfront contract. So I hope I condensed it. I hope I made it simple enough. If I didn't, critique me down below. I'll be okay. So until next time, I'll see you later. Oh, and comment about the bookshelf. I kind of want to put one there, but if you just spam it, if at least one person spams it, that'd be awesome for me. Thanks. See ya. Bye.